Hello, welcome to Altech Fusion. In this tutorial, we are going to look at the Angular components. We will look at the building blocks of the components and the important metadata properties like selector, template, and style URLs. So these are these metadata properties, and we'll create one small Hello World app as well. So that how to create a components by using command and manually, that also we will complete in this video. Now, first question is, what is an Angular component? The Angular component is the main building block of Angular application. It contains the user interaction logic that defines how the view looks and behave. And for view, we generally use HTML. For example, app component HTML. Now, second one is Angular component. So it is a TS file, which is a TypeScript. TypeScript is the superset of JavaScript. You can say Angular component is a plain JavaScript classes defined by using @component decorator. Now, what is decorator? That we will cover in later videos. The component is responsible for providing data to view. Means it provides the data to view. View is HTML. So, for example, title is Altec Fusion. In HTML, I am binding the title by the component is responsible for providing the data to view. So, view is the HTML. For example, here I am mentioning the title, declaring the variable as a title, Altec Fusion, and we are binding it here in the HTML. So now in localhost, you can see Altec Fusion. If I do any changes over here, then those changes will reflect in the view as well. Now the component consists of three building blocks: template, metadata, and class. Template is view. We already seen that how view generally we use HTML to render the view. Then also in view we can use directives, Angular pipes, and other Angular components as well. The data to templates come from the TypeScript, which is nothing but a component. So whenever we change anything in component, it will reflect in the view as well. For example, if I'm writing hello here, then view will render that change in the browser. You can see hello. So we are using here property binding. Now for here property binding and event binding means it is a two-way binding from HTML to component and component to HTML. Now class, already we said that the class is nothing but TypeScript, which is a superset of JavaScript, and metadata provides all the information about selector, template URL, and style URLs. Now what is selector? So selector we are using to render the view. For example, AppRoot. We are including AppRoot selector in index.html. So whenever Angular application loading at that time AppRoot, it is a root component. So we are loading the root component. So for that in app module.ts, we are bootstrapping the app component as well. Now, second one is directives and style URLs. So in app component, you can first see template URL. So in template URL, nothing but a view. You can directly write your HTML code inside this codes. This is the one way, and another way is like this, defining the path of the HTML file. Style. So last one is style URLs. Style URLs is nothing but we can use whatever CSS we want to use. So mention the CSS in the CSS file and those will get applied to the view. Now we will create one component. There are multiple ways to create the component. We can create it manually, means manually we can create all the four files HTML, CSS and TS file. This is the one way. Then register your component in the app module.ts, means we will add the entry in the declaration array to register the component. But Angular is providing us the facility to create the component directly. For example, ng, G means generate, C means component, and component name. Hello world. So by this command, Angular will create component for you. hello world. So here HTML, CSS, TS, all the files created automatically, and as well in Angular app module.ts, they are including the entry of the component in the declaration array. So it is registering the component as well. In imports array, we generally mention the modules, for example, routing modules and forms modules like that. Now there is single root component which is a app root in index.html. So it is not like that we can use multiple components as a root component. For example, hello world. So I will bootstrap the hello world component as well. Then we'll visit the TS file. You can see selector over here. We will add this selector in the index.html along with app root and save. So now in browser hello world works. So now both components are acting like a root components. It is not a perfect way. I'm just showing you that it is possible. So remove all the things. And now if you want to use hello world component as a child component of app component HTML, then just mention the selector in the app component. So now it will work as a child component. Save all, then again if we visit the browser, then hello world works. So there are multiple ways through lazy loading, through routings, we can achieve this thing. This is not a perfect way. I'm just showing you how to use the selector to render the view. So that's it for the component. We'll meet in the next video. Thanks.